I set up an AI assistant for my girlfriend last week. Now it took about 5 minutes, and she's been using it every day from her phone since, doing things like research, planning, asking random questions, and she has no idea what OpenClaw is, she's not technical at all, and to be honest, she doesn't care, she just wanted a cool AI assistant. Now the same platform that I'm going to show you in this video and that I did this with has pre-built experts that can do things like track viral trends, run multi-source research, generate content, and stuff that would normally take you a while to set up yourself if you were using your own OpenClaw. And this all just works completely out of the box, and the reason for that is that I'm using MaxClaw. Now this is MiniMax's hosted version of OpenClaw, and in this video I'm going to show you how it works and dig into some of the pre-built use cases that they have that I think are actually worth your time if you just quickly want to spin up an AI assistant. Okay, so let me quickly talk about what MaxClaw is. Now I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with OpenClaw. If not, all you need to know is that this is an AI agent orchestration framework where you give it an AI model, tools, memory, skills, configurations, and it can actually do stuff for you autonomously in the background without you having to ask it to do it automatically. Now the catch is that setting this up takes a lot of work. I have a lot of videos on my channel where I show the in-depth setup. You need API keys, model deployments, MCP config, memory setup, tool integrations, rate limiting, all of this kind of stuff, right? Now it's not impossible, you can definitely do it, but it is a large project. For most people, you just want something really quickly spun up, especially if you have a simple use case. Now MaxClaw skips all of that setup. You get an OpenClaw running on MiniMax's infrastructure powered by their new M2.7 model, which we'll talk about in a second, but it also comes with a full tool set, so things like web search, image generation, video generation, code execution, web scraping, you name it, and it works on web, desktop, mobile, Telegram, Discord, Slack, you name it, they have all of the integrations, and the cool part is over 10,000 pre-built experts, so you can just select them, you can see right here, there's like a bunch of them if I go to this page, and just choose which one you want to use for your MaxClaw. Anyways, I'm going to show you exactly how to set this up, but I want to quickly talk about the model that's powering MaxClaw because it's making a lot of noise right now in the AI community, and that is the M2.7 model. Now, the reason why this model is getting a lot of attention is because it's one of the first models that's contributed to its own training. So when you train these AI models, you need a lot of infrastructure, right? You need automated testing, you need validation, you have different like test suites, ML deployments, all of this kind of stuff, right, going on. And what the team at MiniMax actually did here when they trained M2.7 is they had it improve that harness around the training every single iteration. So without going into too much detail, effectively, they would use the default model. The model would fine-tune its kind of inputs and the training harness that was being used, and they did that 100 times with no human intervention, and the model was able to improve by over 30%. Now that means that currently MiniMax M2.7 is right up there with the frontier models like Opus and GPT, except it's significantly cheaper to run. They're very soon going to be open sourcing all of the weights, and it's significantly better at tool calling, which makes it a really good model for OpenClaw use cases where there's a ton of different tools connected. Again, I don't want to go into too much detail, but most standard models fall apart when you give them like 20, 30, 40 plus tools or skills. The MiniMax M2.7 model was tested in these situations where it was given a ton of different skills, and it maintained a 97% compliance rate, where most of the other comparable models are only running at 74%. So anyways, that's kind of the brief on M2.7, and that's why they've released this MaxClaw feature, which I want to show you how to set up and what I've been using it for. All right, so I've just gone to the Maybot here from the MiniMax platform. I'll leave a link to this in the description in case you want to set up your own. And what you'll see is that she's been using this consistently over the past few days here. We started by just connecting to Telegram, getting the bot token and stuff, and then she's been giving like really detailed prompts, information about herself. She wants to be like a UGC content creator, so she's asking for like recommendations on her portfolio and content ideas and keeping her motivated. And all of this stuff, like I'm just viewing it from the platform, but she's doing it directly from her phone on Telegram. She's not technical at all. She hasn't had to set anything up. It hasn't broke, and it's cost me, a few dollars effectively to run it using MiniMax token subscription, which I'm going to show you in 1 second. Now you can see that if we look at the files, there's some different skills that are built in here. There's some various logos that were generated because she was asking for some image gen for her UGC agency. There's some information in like agents, heartbeat, things that need to be done, Maze to-do list, identity, right? All of these different things that we want it to kind of talk like. And anyways, you get the idea. She set all of this up without me really needing to do anything at all. So what I want to show you how to do now is set up your own MaxClaw, go over the pricing, and then I'll show you some of the experts that they have. So if you do want to deploy your own MaxClaw, there's a few ways to do this. You can do it from the web, which I'm going to do in this video, or you can download the Mac, Windows, iOS, or Android desktop or mobile applications. I'll leave a link to this in the description. Now, in terms of the pricing, you can directly pay just to use MiniMax agents, which includes using MaxClaw. And what this will do is give you a set of credits, and then those credits can be consumed by you just running a task on the agent platform and just interacting directly with the models and experts that they have there. Or you can use this for MaxClaw, so it's kind of interchangeable. Then it will run based on those credits. And here's kind of the pricing. You can see it's as low as $19 per month, or you can go yearly, obviously, and save some money. And cool thing is, anytime you sign in, you will get an additional 200 credits every single day. So this can last quite a long time as long as you're signing into the platform. However, the way that I'm going to run this is actually using MiniMax's new token plan. So I'm subscribed to MiniMax's token plan. This is an all modality plan where effectively what you can do is pay a certain amount per month. It starts as low as like $20, I believe, and this gives you credits that are usable not just for the AI agent tasks, but also for multimodal. So what I mean by that is like image generation, video generation, voice generation. If we scroll down here, you can see based on the plan that you choose, you get a certain amount of requests to the base model, to the speech model, to the image gen, to the Halo, which are the video generation models, and then there's also high-speed plans as well. So this is a super cool thing that they've rolled out, so you're not paying for different usage or you don't have a ton of different API keys. You just subscribe to one plan. You can use it for coding, you can use it for MaxClaw, you can use it for whatever you want. I'll leave again this link in the description if you want to have a look at the plans that are available. Right now, I'm just on the Plus plan, and sorry, you can go as low as $10 per month for the starter plan and then get access to the different requests where, again, you can use this for MaxClaw. And quickly, I forgot to mention that if you'd like, you can get 12% off any one of these plans using my special link in the description that MiniMax has given me specifically for my subscribers. Anyways, let's keep going. So in terms of setting up MaxClaw, let's go back to the agent platform. What you're going to do is go to this link. I'll leave it in the description, and you're going to find MaxClaw. Now from MaxClaw, you can press this plus button, but first I quickly want to show you some of the experts that are available on this platform. So from this platform, you can just chat like with an agent, right? And there's available skills which you can add here. You can, change the configuration of the model, add attachments, whatever. And this is just like using any other kind of agent platform, right? Okay, now you also have access to experts. Now experts are either deployed by MiniMax or created by the community. You can see landing page builder, topic tracker, all of this kind of stuff, which you can directly chat with and use from here. But what you can also do, and the reason I'm showing you this, is with MaxClaw, you can pick one of these experts to deploy. So if you know that you want your MaxClaw to do multi-agent trading, you select this. If you want it to do industry research, you select this. If you just want default with a bunch of stuff, go with default, right? All of them come with a ton of pre-built skills and configuration, and you can select which one based on what you want to do. And then later they're going to have more experts available. For right now, it's just these. Now what you can do is press this button as well. You connect with the MiniMax coding plan. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put my API key here so I can run the MaxClaw agent off that plan, and I don't need to pay for anything additional. Okay, so I just pressed get key. It brought me to my Plus plan page here. Also, massive shout out to MiniMax for upgrading me to this plan and partnering with me on this video. And if we go back here, I can paste in the key, which I'm not going to show you, and then go I'm ready. Okay, so we just deployed here, and the specific agent or expert that I deployed was an image generation expert. So let's just start by asking it something simple. Hey, can you generate an AI image of the creator Tech with Tim? Look up, see what he looks like, or do some research on him so you could gather maybe what he would look like, and then create kind of like a cartoon AI, animated version of him and give it to me. Okay, so cool. Let's go ahead and run this, and let's see if it can handle that. Okay, so you can see that this is running. I haven't connected this or given it anything else. It's automatically completing web search, so it has access to that tool, which I didn't configure. It just has that out of the box, right? Soon it will start doing the image generation as well, and then we can view all of the files and skills and whatnot that it has access to right here in this file menu. Now I could connect this to Telegram, I can connect it to Slack if I want. I'm not going to do that in this video. And to do that, I would just tell it, hey, help me connect to Slack, help me connect to Telegram, and it will just go through the process and tell you what you need to do, because you need to create a bot, in this case for Telegram. You can see it's looking up some stuff, right? Finding Tech with Tim, who is this Tech with Tim channel, all of this kind of stuff. Let's wait for it to do the image gen, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so it gave us the image here, and I have to say it's not bad. I mean, this doesn't 100% look like me. I didn't give it like a reference photo, so it was just doing research, but overall, I would say this is pretty good. Dark buzz cut, thick eyebrows, short stubble. I mean, look, that's pretty much me. Layered flannel, I probably just found one of the photos where I was wearing that, and then gave me a fun, vibrant coding theme backdrop with Python, you know, all of these kind of coding symbols. That's pretty cool. And notice it was actually using another tool, which is an image analysis tool, where what it's doing is actually looking up various images and then understanding what's inside of them, as you can see here with the preview files, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's that expert. I'm just trying to show you some different things you could do with this, because obviously your use case is going to be different than mine. But what I'm going to do now is just tear down this MaxClaw and make another one and pick a different expert so we can see what it can do. All right, so let's go with this trend intel one. Same thing. Let me connect it to my plan. All right, so this one is deployed. Let's ask it to do some trend stuff. Hey, go research all of the trends that are currently happening specifically with AI and OpenClaw, MaxClaw, MiniMax, different AI models. What's happening right now, March 31st, 2026, as of me recording this video. Okay, and here we go. It's giving me all of the context. So biggest story, OpenClaw is having a moment. OpenClaw is definitely the story of March 2026. 250,000 GitHub stars by mid-March. You know, it's growing massively. 700 million users is insane. Lobster Fever, MiniMax, the company behind MaxClaw, revenue more than doubled. M2.5, M2.7, 12 models in 7 days. Okay, major models released this month, and it's still going. Okay, cool. Okay, so obviously that's useful, but with setting this up, you can do exactly what you would do with OpenClaw, just using MaxClaw. So if I want this to give me this report every day, for example, or every month, or every week, I can just ask it to do that. So I can say something like, hey, I want you every second day to send me a report just like this with the up-to-date research and findings. But I want it to be a little bit shorter, more concise, and just key bullet points I need to be aware of. Boom. We're going to go ahead and press enter, and then in the background, again, it can automatically set up a cron or a task to go and send me these results. And like I mentioned, if I connected to another source like Telegram, which is very easy, I just need to get the bot token, then it will just send it to me on Telegram. So you can chat with it here, you can chat with it on another platform, and you can set it up and configure it as much as you want. You can tell it to add a skill, you can add an integration, you can connect to an MCP server. You can do it all here. The point is it's just deployed automatically in a secure environment, works very quickly, and if you want something simple, it's obviously 100 times faster to use something like this than it is to try to deploy your own virtual private server instance with OpenClaw on it. So you can see it says, okay, every 2 days we're going to run this thing here, boom, 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 good to go. And then same thing if you look at these files here, if you want to change the soul, the identity, the tools, whatever, or make your own manual skills, you can actually just edit it directly here. You also can download everything here by pressing this button, then you can add attachments, right, like files, images, whatever, inside of here if you want to upload them directly to your MaxClaw. Okay, so with that said, let's actually just add a skill here. So I'm going to go manage skills, and I'm just going to create a new one here with MaxClaw. So let's ask it right here. I want to add a new skill. Can you show me how to create one using chat, files, or Claw Hub plugins? Okay, cool. So in my case, I'm just going to have it make a manual skill. I'm going to say, turn the reports that I asked you for into a structured skill that we run every second day rather than just randomly trying to do it. Okay, boom, and let's have it do that and just create the skill out of that kind of research report. So it's in the process of doing this, but you can see that it's created this AI trends report skill now. So it just made this folder. In a sec, it's going to make the file, and then we should be able to see it in here. All right, and if we go here, we can see the skill has now been created, and we can view it and understand exactly what it is it's going to do every single day. Now let's go. I want to actually just make one more new MaxClaw here, and I want to try doing something related to coding, just because obviously this is a development channel. So let me turn this on, add my key, and let's go with the default one, and let's try to do some coding tasks. So while I'm waiting for this to deploy, I've just gone to my skills here. And if I quickly have a look in this skills tab, there's a bunch of skills. So these are different than the experts, obviously, that I can use. So I can sort by MiniMax or user contributed. And I'm just going to find something that I might want to use for coding here. So for example, landing page builder, if I want it, I can just directly add it to my skills. If I want the, let's look here, maybe we go with something like icon maker. We just add it to our skills. And now if it's added to our skills, we should be able to just add it directly to our bot. So now this is deployed, and by default, all of these MaxClaws are going to have access to any of your skills. So if you go to manage skills here, you can see that you have all of them here, and now you can just ask it to use this skill, and it can automatically use it. Now I don't need to add this to each MaxClaw just purely because of the fact that I added it to my skills, it can now use it. So all of them have access to these same ones, right? And then I can chat with it, and you get the idea. Okay, so let's try to make like a basic landing page. I want to try to do some more image or video gen, and let's see if it can handle that. Okay, so I've just given this a detailed prompt, effectively said, create a landing page doing some AI photo video generation, and talk about, you can read this if you want, AI generated content in the future. Let's see if it can do that. So it's just in the process of doing the video now and some of the other stuff, but you can see like this is one of the images it generated fully using AI. I don't know about you guys, that looks like a real image to me. I mean, obviously these other ones, if we take a look, I mean, these are meant to be AI generated images and not like photorealistic, but still pretty cool. And the fact that this just happens under one plan and I don't need to like connect anything else and it just works, is cool. Okay, and it looks like it's completed and it's actually deployed this automatically for us, which is interesting. I didn't know it was gonna do that. And if we go here, we can see the age of generative media is here. Scroll down, we get the stats, we get some of the images that were generated with the various prompt. We come here, we have an AI generated video, 6 seconds at 768p of a dragon flying, which kind of matches this image a little bit, I guess, that they gave us. Now, of course, I could generate some more impressive stuff, but I just want something quickly to be whipped up. And again, that was done with MaxClaw using my token plan that I'm already paying for, with all of the supplementary stuff like image and video gen, which is not at additional cost, it's just included in the plan, which I think is crazy, because if I were to do this using my actual own OpenClaw, first of all, I'd pay for the VPS deployment, which would be about as expensive as running this just on the token subscription. And then I would have to pay for all of the usage. If I'm using Opus, for example, we're already gonna be at multiple dollars just in the first day. Whereas here, I'm just running on this subscription that has very generous limits, and I'm nowhere near to actually reaching the end of it. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful in terms of showing what's possible here. Obviously, it's gonna be better if you connect this up to Telegram and whatnot so you can use it from your phone, but overall, quite cool. So at this point, I think it's time to share my honest opinion on MaxClaw and who I think should and shouldn't use it. Now, first of all, this is quite cool, right? It works incredibly well, in my opinion. It's very, very easy to set up. You don't need to be technical. As you saw, I literally did one for my girlfriend. It's extremely easy. And if you just want something that I'm gonna say is like simple to medium complexity in terms of like an AI agent, this is just a no-brainer for me to go with, and even I will use it and did use it myself, because setting up your own OpenClaw instance, provisioning the VPS, doing the security, making sure you don't leak a token, that is extremely time-consuming, and in the amount of time it takes you to set it up, you could already have the result using something like this. Now that said, the one thing that I do see as a downside of this is the fact that it is not as configurable or scalable as setting up your own instance. So if you are a developer, if you are super technically competent, if you want a super advanced OpenClaw AI agent that you're willing to sink 20, 30, 40, 100 hours into building, this isn't the way to do it, obviously, right? You want to deploy your own, you want to have it on your own hardware, maybe on a virtual private server, you want to dig into the files, you want to run the commands, you want to SSH into the instance, but I just know a lot of people are not interested in doing that, especially if you quickly want to spin it up. Now next, let's talk a little bit about the cost. This is objectively significantly cheaper than running pretty much any other OpenClaw instance that I've seen. Not just from the hosting cost, because if you are going to deploy your own, you need to either buy your own machine, which is hundreds if not thousands of dollars, or host it on a VPS where you have a monthly subscription, right, at maybe 10 bucks or something. But if you use some of the frontier models, you use image gen, you use video gen, right? You use these different tools, you're now paying for all of those different subscriptions, and immediately you're in 30, 40, 50, 100, $200 per month, depending on the amount that you use this. In my case, I've spent over probably $1,000 running OpenClaw instances just in API usage with Claude and Anthropic. And with MiniMax here, I'm on the $20 per month plan. I can run multiple MaxClaw instances. I don't need to pay for the hosting, and I can just use the token plan pretty much unlimited as long as I'm within the usage thresholds, which again are very, very generous, and get access to all of the features like image, video gen, all of that kind of stuff that normally I would pay separately for. So if you do have a lot of that going on and you're doing different modality of generation, so speech, text, etc., I would definitely consider checking this out. And even if you don't use the MaxClaw, you could consider just using the MiniMax model directly inside of your own OpenClaw instance, because again, the tool calling is very, very good and compliant, and then you just have one subscription for everything. You don't have to pay for multiple. So anyways, guys, that's my honest opinion. I think this is quite cool. I like it. I'm going to be using some of these different MaxClaw bots like what I talked about for something simple to medium complexity when I want these types of features. It's not completely replacing OpenClaw, but it is a great alternative for the people that I talked about. And if you want a 12% discount on that token plan, you can use my link in the description. Massive thanks to MiniMax for sponsoring this video and partnering with me, and I look forward to seeing you in another one.